Hi, I'm Dr. Deva Khalsa, and I know you've come here for information on worms and diarrhea and home remedies for this. Well, you've come to the right place. I've been a holistic veterinarian for over 30 years. I lecture internationally, and I'm the author of Dr. Khalsa's Natural Dog. And I'm really happy to give you this information because I think it's important information for you to have. You know, lots of times we bring a fecal to the veterinarian and they check it out and they tell us that there are no worms because there are no worm eggs. And actually, that's not true. Oftentimes, no worm eggs are found, but your dog can actually have worms. Particularly newborn puppies, puppies that you just adopted, or strays. These dogs are much more likely to have worms, and the chances are they do. And they can have diarrhea from the worms, but the diarrhea doesn't clear up when you use typical diarrhea medicines because worms are the problem. And there's a secret to that. Actually, what happens with dogs who have worms and diarrhea is the diarrhea dilutes the eggs that the worms lay, and so they don't find worm eggs in the test. If you find eggs in a fecal test, obviously there have to be worms in the intestine creating those eggs. But if you don't find eggs, it doesn't mean there's not worms. So sometimes when you get a puppy or you get a stray dog in that has diarrhea, it's a good idea to worm them for good measure. You know, lots of times when I was a student, we would have a dog with chronic intestinal problems and we would do fecal after fecal after fecal, sometimes 10 fecals, and no worms were found. Actually, the dog had worms. Eventually they'd vomit up a whole bunch of worms, we'd worm them, and the problem would be gone. Now, actually, one of the wormers that's safe, inexpensive, easy, and effective to use is called Panacur. And Panacur is available from 1-800-PET-MEDS as an over-the-counter product. You don't even need a prescription. And it's packaged according to weight. So a 20-pound dog would use a 20-pound package, and a 40-pound dog would use a 40-pound package, and a 60-pound dog would use 120 and 140-pound package to make 60 pounds. Panacur is a powder. It's put on the food, and you give it for 3 days. It's dosed according to your dog's weight. So if you know your dog's weight, you know exactly how much Panacur to get, and you give your dog's weight for 3 days. So each package is listed on what weight dog it's good for. It's that simple. You can find Panacur at 1-800-PET-MEDS and even on Amazon.com. It's even sold at pet food stores, or feed stores rather, as fenbendazole, and for farm animals. And you sort of have to figure out your own dose with that, so it's easier to get the Panacur. But it's easy to treat for worms with Panacur. Now, Panacur doesn't work for tapeworms, but it works for all the other common worms. So if you have a dog who has diarrhea and you're not sure it's worms, don't trust the fact that the fecal might be negative and that means there's no worms. Your dog might have worms. If your dog goes to the park, plays with other dogs, and is in situations where he might get worms, that's always a possibility. And of course, strays and puppies, well, at least 90% of them have worms. So it's nice to remove the parasite burden, handle the worms, and this is an easy home remedy that you can get over the counter and handle worms in your dogs. You know, I want you to have healthier dogs and cats and fewer veterinary bills. And at my blog, dogandcatvitamins.com, there are lots of handy tips like this, and I really look forward to seeing you.